Hello and welcome to my personal year-end awards of 2018. My name is WW Dadman, but you already know that. And we start off as per usual with the Game of the Year Top 5 ranking. Now, 2018 was a pretty amazing year in terms of releases, so it wasn't hard to find 5 games to put here. It was pretty hard to have just 5 games in here, and which is why instead of putting one game in the 5th place, I tied the 5th place between 2 games. And here is the first one.
At 2 Point Hospital, over 52% of our patients believe they leave healthier than when they arrive. Our precisely calibrated equipment is operated by compassionate healthcare practitioners, many of whom have even been to medical school or watched ER.
5th place, number 1, goes to 2 Point Hospital. 2 Point Hospital is the spiritual successor to Theme Hospital, a game that came out in the 90s and which had the same kind of humor that 2 Point Hospital brings. It's got hilarious fictional illnesses that are based mostly on puns. And if you know my sense of humor, there's nothing better than a good pun, so the game just doesn't get boring, and on top, it keeps track of how well you're doing with your hospital compared to people on your friend list on Steam. So, all in all, the concept of Theme Hospital is very well applied in this, and if you haven't picked up this game yet, then you definitely should. There's also a new DLC out for it already, adding a bunch more content, and apparently the Yeti, but I haven't gotten into that yet. So I can't tell you anything exactly about that. But yeah, game is pretty damn fun, and I can't wait to keep on playing it. This doesn't have a thing. This doesn't. Just saying, I need a straight line. Oh, you're not in the circuit anymore.
Albert is waiting, my dear.
The other 5th place is a VR game, and it goes to Torn. Now, this is the kind of game that VR really needs. Not just a gimmick or a tech demo, but a full-length, story-driven puzzle game set in a mystery sci-fi type of setting where you figure out what happened to the owner of that mysterious mansion you're investigating by finding shreds of his memory and solving puzzles which are based on electrical currents. Really, if you have a VR headset, this is definitely a game you should get. And it is available on all the major VR headsets. So I'm playing it on PSVR. It is also available on Oculus and Vive. So yeah, I sure hope that we'll get more VR games like this in the future on that quality level.
Hi.
4th place goes to another VR game, Moss. Moss is essentially a platformer with enemy combat with a sword type of weapon, and interactions of the player's controller with the environment and the characters. The story is told in chapters with a little picture book cutscene between the chapters. That further the story and that tell a little bit of the background information to you, the reader. You take the role as the reader of this book, which is also a character inside of the book, which is a kind of mythical being in the world of Moss, and you control a little mouse called Quill, and fight against weird insect enemies, and as well as a giant snake and some weird automated laser eyes, mecha, frickin' Sauron, whatever the heck those were. It is sure fun, it's challenging, it has an engaging story, and the second book, quote unquote, of the game is basically in the works, so I can't wait for that to come out, and I'll definitely be playing it. Everything that's loud around here. Third place for this year goes to a game that released out of early access this year, Subnautica. I've been playing through this game on stream ever since its release, and I'm in no hurry to actually get to the ending, if you were wondering. The game is basically a survival game, where you're stranded on an alien planet, mostly covered in water, so most of the time you spend your time underwater. The story of both the old alien race that used to live there, as well as another set of people that stranded there before you, adds to the atmosphere, as well as the always looming danger of the Leviathan class species. Those also add a lot to that atmosphere. Those Leviathan class species are basically sea monsters, like giant snake-like fish-ish, I guess, creatures that definitely will kill you if you come too close. Your end goal in the game is to get off the planet, but the real fun is exploring all of the depths of the ocean and searching for all the necessary resources to further the story and to get all the parts that you need to build the rocket. As well as discovering new sea creatures every time you go to a new biome. So it definitely is never a dull time. The only thing I can really criticize about it is the fact that actually finding the exact parts you're searching for can be a little tedious, especially if you're only missing one thing, but in the end, the game sure deserves this year's bronze medal, and I can't wait to get back into it, and since I actually have time now that I have 2 weeks off during the holidays. This sure is. Second place this year goes to Mother Gunship. This is the spiritual successor to Tower of Guns. Unlike Tower of Guns, it has an actual story though. And just in general, it seems like a more polished, better version of Tower of Guns. A bunch of the enemies from Tower of Guns make a return, and starting guns from that game can also be seen as base parts for the guns you build in this game. So basically, Mother Gunship allows you to build your own portable Tower of Guns, so to say. On top of the awesome crafting mechanic, which really lets you go beyond anything sane with your guns. On top of that, the controls are really freaking good. The humor in the story is hilarious. Each level is procedurally generated, as it is kind of a roguelike. And the post-game is made interesting by becoming more challenging, and there is an endless mode that unlocks pretty early in the story, which is also pretty nice to try out your guns. And I sure had a ton of fun with this game so far, and I plan on having more in the near future. Actually, while you're watching this, I'm probably uploading another episode of Mother Gunship for tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.
Is there anything you'd like to know about me?
Hell no. Well, yeah. Why do they make you look so goofy and give you that weird voice?
CyberLife androids are designed to work harmoniously with humans. Both my appearance and voice were specifically designed to facilitate my integration.
Well, they fucked up.
And with that, to my personal Game of the Year #1 on the list, Detroit Become Human. Quantic Dreams outdid themselves with this one. Like, the sheer amount of possible branching stories is amazing. You actually get to see that if you look at the story path you've taken. You see the branches you could have taken. You just don't see what would have happened there. It branches out a whole lot. Your choices and actions have actual consequence. You can actually die with each of the 3 main characters, which I did in one playthrough. The characters are sentient androids, by the way. And basically, at any point in the game, you can get rid of pretty much any of the 3 main characters. Kinda like with Until Dawn, but with androids instead of humans. But yeah, that had also a lot of different possible outcomes. This taps Until Dawn in terms of branching, though, because the amount of branching in this is really ridiculous. If you look at the late game branching paths you can take, it is unlikely that anyone will ever, like, in a reasonable amount of time, make it through all the branches. Like, I played through this 3 times on stream, and I haven't gotten anywhere near getting all the branches. And there's still sections of the game that I have not seen at all. So that only come up in very specific situations. So if there is any story-driven game that has actual replay value, it sure is this one. So therefore, deservedly, the gold medal this year, my personal game of the year. Now, as I said earlier at the start, this year was pretty amazing in terms of game releases, so the list of honorable mentions is also pretty freaking long. We'll start off with Deliver Us the Moon, a Kickstarter project that I backed and that ended up being one of the rare cases of games I want to speedrun. I currently do hold the any percent world record in that. If you want to see the normal casual playthrough of that, that is up completely on the channel, so feel free to check that out. Then we've got a VR rhythm game on Steam that was Hatsune Miku themed. It released with a very small set of songs, but it did get another DLC adding some more songs. I just didn't really get to play it much yet because actually setting up the PSVR with the PC is a lot more work than it's worth. And I much rather wait until I actually buy a real headset for the PC instead of using the PSVR headset for it. Then one of the more negative points on this, Hot Lava released. That game was a huge letdown to me. I really did not enjoy that at all. It just felt wrong in controls in ways that I didn't like. Yeah, just to point out one small little negative on this list as well. Season's Beatings, a first-person Hotline Miami-like game by the developer of Paranautical Activity. This released in January, so it didn't really get a whole lot of Christmas theme exposure, but it definitely is still fun, and I kind of want to pick it back up for the stream on the 26th or something, so I don't know if by then I did, but yeah, I'm kind of recording this on Christmas Day, so I'll see what I'll do. Then another thing that we're gonna talk about on a later topic. The Walking Dead, the final season started and was taken over by another company after Telltale shut down, but more on that, as I said, later. Life is Strange 2 also started, and I refrained from buying it before all those episodes are out for the same reasons that we are going to talk about later. There were also a bunch more PSVR games that I want to mention. First and foremost, Beat Saber, a rhythm game that is a ton of fun and that I definitely will still take some time to get good at until I am going to do the all songs on extreme kind of, or on expert actually. It's called expert, the highest difficulty there. Before I do that stream that I usually do with those games. Then a bunch of games that I haven't gotten to play yet actually for the channel that I definitely want to still play for the channel, also PSVR based, are Knockout League, a gimmicky boxing game, The Perfect Sniper, which is of course a shooter, Audio Beats that I actually did try, but it's a significantly less polished and lower song count VR rhythm game than the other one that we were just talking about, Beat Saber. Then Unearthing Mars 2, the sequel to Unearthing Mars, which I did enjoy quite a lot, so I am looking forward to playing the sequel. And then there is Deracine, or Deracine, or however you wanna freaking pronounce that. I do not fucking speak French. By the same people who do the Souls games, which is kind of weird, because this isn't an RPG at all. It's more of an exploration and I think kind of a little bit puzzle kind of game. We will see once I actually get to play it. I do have it already. I just didn't get to play it yet because time. Then, of course, just this month, Just Cause 4 released, which is more or less the same thing as Just Cause 3. So Michael Bay the game, just with even better graphics. And I do not see why people actually dislike Just Cause 4 that much, because it has pretty low ratings on Steam. I don't know why. It's basically the same as Just Cause 3, and that was awesome. So also we're still playing through Just Cause 3 on stream. Then Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or Fighters, I guess, with a Z at the back. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. I only picked that up towards the end of the year on sale. I really haven't gotten any time to get good at it yet, but it definitely is fun, and it's more or less one of the genres I don't get to play much, because usually the whole Tekken and Street Fighter stuff isn't my kind of thing, but I guess it just takes the correct theme for me to enjoy a fighting game. And then, of course, we've got a bunch of updates and DLC. Isaac got its Forgotten update, which added a bunch of really dumb new achievements, as well as an even more secret character, and a whole another lot more stupid way to unlock him. Let's say it wasn't the most enjoyable thing I've done this year. KSP got its Making History DLC, which added a nice bunch of historically accurate engines and parts to the game, as well as a mission mode, which is basically basically the same as with the tutorials, but now you actually have missions to do. And not just the tutorial stuff where you do the stuff that the game wants you to learn. Prey got its Moon Crash DLC, which I kind of forgot to continue and really should pick back up as soon as I find the time. Enter the Gungeon got its Dungeons and Dragons update, which I also dropped again, because one, I didn't have the time to sink hundreds of hours into a roguelike this year, because, getting my degree as well as job now. And 2, the key economy of the game is a bit frustrating since you hardly get any keys. At least you don't get enough for everything you want to open, and also the shops are really freaking expensive compared to how much you actually get from drops. So yeah, I just really do not enjoy Gungeon a lot. I'm still going to eventually come back to it, but once I really have a lot of time on my hands, which is not going to be pretty soon, I guess. No Man's Sky had the next update, which made me restart a save and get back into the game. And then got a bunch of other updates that added underwater Subnautica-esque Abyss stuff, as well as the Visions update, which all added to an already, in my opinion, great game, and I wish I had the time to actually get into the center of the universe for once. But yeah, it kind of is hard to get to play such a very time-intensive game if you don't have a lot of time. And last but certainly not least, Viscera Cleanup Detail just this month got new maps for free things, as well as another DLC, which is based in a kind of Bond villain kind of thing, lair. I don't know. It definitely is secret agent themed, and yeah, that was a lot of fun to get into. Hell, this game is one that I freaking immediately buy a sequel of if any ever came out, but I don't know how high the chances of that are. Anyway, with that, I'd say we'll come to the more channel related awards. Disappointment of the year. This one has actually 2 winners this year. One more gaming related, one more YouTube related, one more from the start of the year, and one from more toward the end of the year. Number 1 being the YouTube partner purge, and just generally YouTube becoming more and more anti-creator when it comes to just unceremoniously kicking out channels under 1K subs and or that didn't meet their arbitrary number of hours of watched content, or I was honestly just pissed at them because after 5 years of my channel being partnered and never breaking any of YouTube's rules, just getting kicked out like trash, it not only lacks any form of respect towards the creators, it also is one of the many bad business decisions YouTube has made over the past years. With all the shit they keep flinging around, they drove many people off of YouTube, and many people that I used to watch. Most of those now stream on Twitch instead. Hint, hint. That's another point that really pisses me off. Then again, I'm not an exception in this. Ever since the YouTube partner purge, I've spent more time streaming and less time actually producing videos for YouTube, as you might have seen, since a lot of the stuff that I upload now are stream VODs. Unlike most people who just put their VODs in storage on Twitch, I actually edit my stuff though, so you still get kind of watchable length videos, I hope. Also, yeah, I am back in the partner program ever since like 3 months after I hit the 1K, but I am also a Twitch affiliate, and honestly, Twitch is doing a whole lot more for their streamers than YouTube ever did. So honestly, for gaming content, YouTube just becomes less and less attractive, and their half-assed YouTube gaming BS doesn't really change that. So yeah, disappointment of the year, basically YouTube in its entirety. The second award in this category goes to the business people behind Telltale Games. Now, working developers and artists have to death, and then from one day to the other just close the company, making tons of people lose their jobs, some of which were only hired weeks before, is an absolute atrocity. If I frickin' pronounce words correctly. On top of that, the announced second season of The Wolf Among Us will probably not happen this way unless somebody else picks up the IP. Which pisses me off because I like that series. And the final season of The Walking Dead, ever getting past the second episode, was, for part of the time, really not sure at all. And, yeah, without the other studio, I do not remember their name, picking up the IP, that would have been pretty much daylight robbery, because we already paid for the full game. Which is why I am now completely reluctant to buy episodic games until all the episodes are out. Telltale as a business did everything wrong that they could possibly do wrong with the shutdown. I mean, like, they had to have known before that the final season would never get past episode 2. Yet they advertised release dates for the third and fourth episode. And then they kept on showing those release dates on the store page, on Steam, and on the PlayStation Store and everywhere, even after they already had announced that they'll shut down Telltale and that the second episode will be the last. So, they didn't know that anybody would ever frickin' finish this game. In any way, if I take anything from this whole debacle, then it's that I sure won't buy episodic games before the full set of episodes is out anymore, because I am not willing to go through this kind of thing again with an episodic game. Yeah. Next award, Rage of the Year, and we kind of continue with the final season of The Walking Dead there, since the control changes in this season were just a little bit too annoying, honestly, as you see in this footage. Oops. What was... Which button was that? Bullshit! Bull fucking shit! What? That's bullshit! Turn around, you stupid! This is bullshit! Who thought this was a good idea? I want to personally punch them in the face with a chair made of steel! And with that, the usual top 5 funny bugs of the year ranking right here. How do you think that would work with a convoy? Oh, of course, you fucking fuck yourself. What the fuck is that? What is that? What is that? In what universe is that possible?
I think it's spilled.
Yeah, now it's actually spilling.
Yeah, because it's hitting me.
What the hell? I think I broke the game.
Oh my god, it's everywhere on my screen.
That thing was possessed right now. I'm sorry.
Why? I am the edgiest of you all.
Jealous.
No.
The hell was that?
It
I broke his
hurts.
heart.
Oi.
He just went through a fucking wall.
I'm getting too old for this. Freaking subtitles regret.
Okay, the door's open now.
What the hell?
Oh shit, there's a lot of
I
hits.
think I broke the game.
No way! I think it... Okay, broken.
Why is it so bright?
Do you have a heart that you don't need anymore? What? How did that guy just run out of the wall? It doesn't. It did it again. Oh fuck! The game is literally in fast forward.
Above this cliff. Come on, let's
What
go.
the hell? Why? I also do not have any sort of pause to fucking fix this. Why is this a thing? This is so dead, but this constant and all thing. This is literally fucking Skyrim after tilting on a horse. Kind of speed. What is this? Why? Okay, cool. Nice. Also, why is K my jump key? This is dumb. This is so dumb. What is wrong with you? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? I mean, I guess this is great for fucking speedruns. And to finish off the awards, we go with the Love Flash of the Year, which goes to 2 Point Hospital literally just this month. And here's the footage. Why? Now, lastly, I wanna have a look at what we can look forward to in 2019. That, of course, being first and foremost Metro Exodus coming out in February. I'll definitely be playing that on release. Then Death Stranding should be releasing next year. Ori and the Will of the Wisp should also be releasing next year. As soon as we know exactly when, I will be playing Ori and the Blind Forest on stream. Vacation Simulator, the kind of sequel to Job Simulator by the same team, with the same robots that simulate human activities kind of theme. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's supposed to come out in 2019, I guess. Then a game announced at E3, The Sinking City, which looked very interesting on the trailer. Trover Saves the Universe, which is another game by the people who made Accounting Plus. Then by Supermassive Games, we get the Dark Pictures Anthology, which is a very Until Dawn-esque kind of deal with just set on a different kind of setting, not in the mountains and not with teenagers as far as I've seen. But yeah, it looks cool so far. It's gonna be a multi-part game. I don't know if they'll release it in episodes, because then I'll again wait until all of them are out. But if they're like individual games that all come together into one, then why not do that? The Binding of Isaac is going to get another DLC. This time it's actually going to be the last one. It's going to be called Repentance, and it's mostly going to add the features from a mod for the Rebirth called Anti-Birth. That's basically what's going to be added there, and I'm looking forward to playing through that. We're definitely going to get 100% on it again. Subnautica is going to get an expansion. They're working on a standalone expansion that is set in the more polar regions of the planet, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. There is also a game called Control that's coming out for PS4. I have not seen exactly what it's going to be like, but it looks interesting to say the least. So I'm looking forward to see if I want to play that. Most likely I will. Then Jump Force, another fighting game featuring characters from pretty much all the Shonen Jump manga series. So One Piece, Dragon Ball, frickin' Naruto, even Death Note and Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason. Whatever those are doing in a fighting game. I'm looking forward to see how that goes, and I'm definitely going to play that, especially since a good friend of mine's also going to get that one, so we can play that in against each other in multiplayer. So yeah. And then, of course, Generation 8 of Pokemon is going to release next year. I'm looking forward to that being announced, because that's definitely going to be the point where I will be getting a Switch, since, Let's Go was more like Pokemon Go for the Switch and less of an actual Pokemon game. But I'm still going to eventually play it. I mean, I do play Pokemon Go on my phone, so yeah. But it's not a real Pokemon game. Just isn't. Can't tell me that that's a Pokemon game. We're still going to play through that once normally, and we're definitely going to do an adjusted kind of Nuzlocke for that eventually. As for Pokemon Generation 8, I'm probably going to get that on release, and I am going to stream that as a casual playthrough first and then as a Nuzlocke afterwards. Because that's definitely something I want to do. And last but not least, what I do expect for next year is the announcement of the PlayStation 5. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see how well they've done on that, so we can get that in 2020 and maybe get 4K 60 native output for every game, please. Because if you're gonna have to do 4K, please make sure it's still 60 FPS, because I do not want to play another game in 30 FPS on a console. Because it's really annoying for my eyes to see stuff run in 30 FPS. Especially if it's a rhythm game, because that's one thing that I wish for, but there is absolutely no confirmation for that. Once the PS5 is out, at the latest, I want another Project Diva game for that. And if that's not running in 60 FPS, then basically you're doing it wrong. Like the PS3 games, F and F2 running in 30 FPS is really annoying. Either way, I sure hope that for the PS5, all the PS4 titles we have already will be compatible and playable in either the PlayStation Pro version, so in 4K if the game supports it, or at least in a boost mode kind of setting where the game at least runs better. Yeah, so this concludes the year-end awards for this year. I'd say I'll see you for the best of compilation, like probably... I'm probably going to upload that like on the 31st or something, because that's going to take a lot of time to cut. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video of whatever I make, or over on Twitch on the next stream. And until then, I'd say Happy New Year, see you in 2019, and until then, I'm WW Dadman, and I'm out of here. Bye.